components. But, design is design, and understanding structure and layering on structure.
So the card you pulled today, Nicole, is
they're your champion, they're your influencer. But, the largest optical distributor in the US, and it's fantastic. Understanding structure and layering on structure and design components.
Welcome everybody to the Marketing Tarot, the podcast where we pull the cards, spark a conversation, and uncover the strategies marketers and growth professionals are actually living right now. I'm your host, of course, Charu, and today we are joined by Nicole Johnson, a marketing and revenue leader with a proven track record of driving growth across B2B and B2C. She's built, executed competitive go-to-market strategies, and her expertise spans, I would say, probably every channel that moves the needle. Am I right, Nicole?
Absolutely. Can't leave anything to chance.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I was excited to join today. It's always exciting to talk about marketing, especially in our current AI climate. I know that you had mentioned, how did I get into marketing was one of your
let's start with
questions.
That.
And I'm sure everybody loves that question, especially in marketing. How did I get in? So it's been an evolution for me in terms of my growth professionally and my skill set and expanding on that. And ironically, I started out originally in architecture and furniture design. Yeah, everyone's like, what? But design is design, and understanding structure and layering on structure and design components. I always think of the building as, the building, and then what you do inside of it in the rooms, personalizing it, making it pretty, et cetera, et cetera. It applies. There's a relevant application to how we market, how we communicate with customers and people, B2C, B2B, et cetera. And so while it wasn't a straight evolution, I had left to go work with my brother on a company that he was launching, and it was gaining a lot of traction. And I moved into that field of web design and, branding, et cetera, et cetera. And, when one thing led to another, and, we sold the company. And then, of course, SEO was coming up big, and SEO was relevant. And so I moved into an SEO agency to understand how that works. How do we target ads? How do we geo-target? How do we define the who and the what and the when are these things delivered? And of course, I worked in both capacities there. I worked on sales and marketing side. So I got a pretty good intel into what the customers needed for their businesses to grow, but more importantly, what would marketing and what would these initiatives actually drive to a sales rep in that org? What is MQLs, SQLs, that conversation? And so then it evolved into digital marketing for a winery, which was so much fun. And of course, MindBody, which everybody knows who MindBody is. And then here I am at, the largest optical distributor in the US, and it's fantastic. I really get to layer all of that skill into these customer journeys, and not just delivering the right message at the right time, but what does that customer journey look like? What's that lifetime value? What is that ideal customer profile? And when and what are the touch points that actually resonate with them? So it's been a pretty cool journey.
I can totally see that. And you kind of answered my follow-up question, which was what really keeps you going? I think the whole idea of adapting to the situations, and every case is new, every case is unique, and how you approach it, how you strategize, what to do to this particular case in point.
100%.
I think for me, that's the high, but please go ahead.
Well, and you're right. And I think, I'd be surprised if marketers at every level weren't having these conversations and thinking about this, because we have all these tools at our disposal, AI related, and I'm not going to go positive and negative on AI because everybody feels slightly different.
Yeah,
I'm a pretty firm believer that you still got to be able to drive the car. And having all these tools at our disposal doesn't make us work better, smarter, faster. It actually opens up more questions for me as to, if I'm using all the buzzwords and predictive analytics and all these things, and I can clean up my data, and I can see this. Okay, but why? Why do I need to clean that? What do I want to see? What is my goal from point A to point Z. And I think about the customer journey. It's not just, oh, I want to touch them with awareness. I want to touch them with, research and education. I want to touch them, whatever the CTA may be. It's with all that at our hands, it's almost, people are almost over communicated with. And it's not like you're not looking at my behavior or my lack of behavior intent otherwise, putting me somewhere and tracking if I open an email, but not really, like of the 5 emails, let's be honest, we all know there's throttles on most stuff. Did they even get all 5? So for me, it opens up more questions. I like AI for cleaning up data. If I say I'm going to do X, Y, or Z, I'm going to launch this campaign, I'm going to track it. I want to send these insights or intent to the reps to see if that truly drives value in prospecting, not just the lead. Like the lead, obviously they're ready to go, but
100%.
Does that additional insights help them close a bigger deal? Speak to the customer on the level that they're, want to be spoken to. There isn't anybody out there that doesn't know we can see all that. But I almost feel like we can see too much. And then you're like, almost just like you're delivering so much insights and so much intent and so much scoring to a customer. And you're saying that you believe it's going to do X, Y, and Z. I mean, to a rep, and saying it's going to do X, Y, and Z, but is it?
I think that's where you missed the point, right? When you over strategized, I think, and that's why the need for originality and genuine raw messaging is coming back, right? I mean, the more structured and the more hanky-panky you have, people are rejecting that, So
it's almost the simplicity of it is even better. Just like the straight customer journey. We're looking at it, but instead of, you can go down so many rabbit holes. You can see what keywords I'm searching. And if I'm going to go sideways or I'm a retention issue, you can see that. But to me, I agree with you. I think that if I want to do X, Y, and Z and trigger it to retention, let's just do X, Y, and Z and see how that retention journey works. Don't try to just do everything that you could possibly think. What landing pages did they look at? Are they looking at our competitors? Are they searching our competitors? Are they looking at these keywords? If you have 300 keywords, of course it's going to look more terrifying. But do you have the high value keywords that just so they might be doing some research?
I'm so glad we resonate on that. And that's the purpose of this discussion, because sometimes we just, as you said, go down multiple rabbit holes just because there's so much information available, and it's nobody's fault.
There's almost too much information.
But we just have to filter and as marketeers, see what is the right tool and what is the right metric that we need to see, instead of having hundreds of dashboards out there.
But the dashboards are more overwhelming too. Like I look at data all day long, but you're right. It's not really telling me what I need to know about my customer for a nurture journey. Different. We have a couple different types of retention journey. We have, if their behavior does X, Y, and Z, but we also have that retention kind of upsell, allowing our customers to know that if, we have additional products that we're probably going to be a good fit for them based on, like I said, A, B, or C. And instead of being like, okay, it's only a good fit if they spend X amount of money and they do this and they looked at that and they looked at that. I mean, it's almost paralysis by analysis. And you have to start somewhere. If I launched the A to the B test, if I waited to launch the A, B to the B testing until I had the overarching every branch I could possibly go down, every branch my customer could go down, honestly, it probably would take me forever to actually get any insights. And so that's why I've been this year simplifying. Only let's do the A/B testing on, did they do A, B, or C? And what was the result? Did we retain them? Did we cross-sell to them? Did we increase that sale because of that information? Or did we have to retain them? But, it's the journeys are a little bit more complicated than that, but it's really, that's the simpler way to put it, is when did they go into what bucket and why?
As simple as that.
It really is.
All right, fantastic. Thank you for that.
Did I just ever simplify that?
Right. But then tell me, it's interesting, but has your approach to building a go-to-market strategy in today's day and age with all this available, when you enter a new market or launching a new product, has it changed, or do we still go back to the basics?
It's evolved a bit. I will say that we do have one coming up soon. I can't say when, but we do, and I'm in the middle of it as we speak. And it's interesting because the basics apply to the launch and how we're going to initially handle the customers, but now there's a couple more branches because of the intent and some scoring that we could see out of the gate, where some potential drop off would be, where the value add of those keywords that they're searching or what they're looking at would drive value to the sales team for their prospecting and their lead to deal closing. And then because it's a fresh launch, we're still keeping it simple, but then I can actually see what content resonates with them more about which product. And then we can also track that through to see, because we did it this way, are we getting more leads? Are we getting more deals? Are they closing quicker? And is there a higher dollar value on them? And that's what we're going to look at initially. And we're not going to go into updating content and building more customer journeys until we can actually see what's happening off of those buckets.
Understood.
So I would say the old still kind of applies, but some of the new insights we're going to layer on to see if it changes that trajectory and how.
Yeah, and it's mostly the intent data, you would think? Is that the layer that's been added?
So we're starting to move more into intent data. We do use, we have HubSpot as a full suite. So we have a lot of stuff at our fingertips. I mean, honestly, it's really cool. It's nice to have it all in one. But we also leverage Rollworks. I brought that software on, I think it's been 4 years. It handles some of our additional ABM intent and of course our retargeting. So we have more control over who we're retargeting to, when we're retargeting to, and what that CTA is. If they went through everything and they didn't complete the form is the CTA. I'm not tracking, it's great that they looked at the emails. It's great that, did the ad drive them? And the ad only really triggers if they didn't complete the CTA. And we're even cleaned up a lot of that because we had so much analytics on there that it was like the ROI was good, the clicks were good, but then on the flip side, what was the deal size? What was the lead size? Did we shorten the sales cycle? So I look at it in my position in the customer journeys as marketing and a rev ops, if you will, because I'm trying to drive the right leads that are better quality leads to our sales reps. So we're not just blowing up all their time so that, we're closing, faster, better, stronger. And what additional marketing assets do we need for them to do that and for us to do that? So I see it as a twofold situation. I don't see it as this big separation of silos like I know does occur in certain companies. I see it as that kind of a marriage, if you will, that we both need to be working for our best, highest good for the company.
And that's a great example of where technology can benefit us.
That crossover helps us.
So
notifying the rep, sending that intel to the rep.
There you go.
Automatically, so I don't have to just send them a link.
It's definitely of help. It has reduced time, made things more efficient, reduced redundant work so much. There are much better benefits than downfalls, I would say.
Saves marketing. Yeah, exactly. And I would feel I think it saves marketing on some of that back end analytics aggregator and stuff like that, let's be honest, to reconcile all that into a spreadsheet, or whatever, however we used to send them the clicks and whatnot. It does take time, I'm not saying we don't still use it, but I'm not saying I don't look at my Excel scorecard and see, we're on pace, we're pacing month over month. We're consistent. No, we haven't seen a drop off on our KPIs and our OKRs. And I do like it for that. At a glance, I can scroll across and see if how we're doing. And if there was a drop off, okay, well, did we not feed a campaign? Did we not feed a customer journey? Did we not do any exterior effort? Do we need a better budget for the retargeting? That type of intel. And I think that really does help.
Amazing. Yeah. I love that. All right. It's time for your card, Nicole. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to pull a card randomly for you. If there's anyone calling out to you, let me know. I can do that as well.
Normally I would, but I think I just want to see what comes up.
All right, let's go for it then. Stopping here. All right. So the card you pulled today, Nicole, is the alignment card, which kind of explains itself, but it's all about integrity, coherence, and harmony between all of the initiatives, whether it's channels, campaigns, creatives that you're doing. So how does this card play in your current work or your thinking? I'd love to know that.
I love it. And I love that this is the one that popped up, because I feel like even alignment, the push and the symbiotic nature of that alignment that our marketing team and sales team now has, is so much stronger than it was when I started 4 years ago. And, that balance in these campaigns, like you said, all of the channels that I could possibly market in, and that's great. But that alignment between, and I'm looking at this twofold. Like I'm looking at what I'm currently working on, but I'm looking at, like we were talking about, how I'm going to layer, what's working, what's not working, what's aligned, what's working, what's not working, cleaning up what's not working, and also layering on the intent and the scoring better for that insights for me, not just the intent for our reps and that engagement, but for our overall content in those channels, all of that, like, how is that driving those insights to us? And are those still relevant, or do we need to pivot in certain areas?
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought the alignment between the sales and marketing team. That's always a sticky point. And I think for companies who get that right, I think half of the battle is won.
100%. And it's definitely been such a stronger relationship with such because I also have insights into what they need and what would be of value to them. We do have sales sequence and templates for them, but we do want to pivot and allow them to leverage sales sequences a bit more. So when they're following up or they're dealing with a prospect, whether it's hot, warm, cold, high, medium, low, spiking, it's kind of like when you go back to flowcharts, whose swim lane is it? Marketing does a lot of that overhead. Marketing drives that. Marketing gets that MQL, SQL, however, people break it down. But then whose touch point is it next? And I don't believe that it's always marketing. I think that marketing can do that really strong overhead, keep that customer engaged, eliminate friction, eliminate churn points, eliminate that. But there's still the relationship with the sales team and that salesperson to their customer that I believe, from having both sides of the experience, is still invaluable.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
again, their relationship.
Yeah, it comes down to that human relationship, I think, at the end of the day, and also the same mindset that we are on the same team. At the end of the day. All right, so that's your card. I love it's one of my favorite cards, to be honest with you.
Me too. I saw that somebody had the Wheel of Fortune on one of your other ones, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a good one too."
All right, but now I'm going to give you a chance to pick your best spread of 3 cards. It could be, the 3 best cards that you kind of, are your favorites that you use every time you approach a strategy, or, any which way you want to pick it out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm looking, because I was like, funnel, obviously, but campaign, we use campaign message. Actually, I'm going to go with, I'm looking kind of, because I like the channel too. I think there's so many good ones, because ROI is so important too. But that customer experience and that trust, I mean, you cannot drive ROI without both of those. Oh yeah, because right now I'm leaning towards experience, trust, and ROI. If you have those, no matter what your message is, if you're driving a great customer experience, you're not over communicating with them. You're not you build trust, and you're going to get ROI. And I feel like those are the ones that resonate the most with me.
You want to stick with them?
You never want to deliver a bad customer experience. I don't want them to distrust our company or or feel like we're not authentic to our brand.
Yeah. It's so amazing. Again, I would like to point out, trust has come up so many times. Like, trust is something people are picking out that card as their best hand or their best spread, almost 8 out of 10 times. I think that shows that trust is
experience.
Yeah. I think, again, we are coming back to that cycle of experience, trust, that human connection. I think that's what the story is about. But how how does ROI play? If with trust or with
Well, I
experience.
mean, yeah, in terms of measuring that, I would say the lifetime value of that customer, the ability to cross-sell and upsell to them more than spending time doing retention. I think if you do it right out of the gate, your customer is loyal. Because I know what brands I'm loyal to, and I know when it feels inauthentic to me in a way. And I would never want to deliver that at a marketing level, nor would our entire marketing team, to new or existing customers. They're too valuable, because they're also they're your champion, they're your influencer. I mean, I know those are buzzwords right now, but there's something to be said for getting a great testimonial that's going to drive even better ROI with potential niche of your customer base that you might have not thought were going to go that direction on that product.
Yeah, and I think it's not about the immediate. Yeah. And it's not about the instant ROI too. I mean, this is a long-term story we're talking about, right?
Right. And everybody, I would say most companies, I can't imagine their life cycles on a lead to a deal to a close has gotten as short as our attention span. There's still levels of work and due diligence. And like I said, that experience to that customer, if they're net new, even if they're existing, before they buy another product from you, before they buy more product from you. So, that instant gratification of, ROI and okay, this, our deals are all closing in around in 30 days. Well, that's fine. But if you're still not doing the work, they're probably canceling or bouncing in 30 days too, or 60 days.
There you go. Yeah.
And it costs more to acquire a new customer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a lot more.
A lot more. And even today, even more.
Yes. It's like finding a how do you say, gold in the kind of
yes.
mine.
I always call it the unicorn.
All right, fantastic. So I'm going to stop sharing, but that was so much fun to hear your insights. And then we just, we're at the end of the tail end of the session, but I do have a question from a previous guest, and that I'd like to pass on and get your thoughts from you. What is that one belief about marketing, or one lesson or a practice that you would like to unlearn? So you can bring out the best work, or do better.
This is probably going to be a weird one to a lot of people, and I was just thinking about it today. And it layers in with my point of view on the AI and all this technology we have. Personalization and that hyper-personalization that we were all sold, and all of this. That's great, but if you're not essentially watching my behavior or my intent, you're serving me up personalized stuff that I may or may not be interested in right now. And then you're just bugging me. And I kind of have an example of this. And so a friend of mine lost a pet recently. And I know, you never want to lose a fur baby. And ironically, so you're going to assume what I'm probably about to say. So she posted on Instagram, a little tribute to her baby. And guess what happened next? She's been bombarded for a couple of weeks straight in her feed of pet memorial stuff, from a rock to a shrine to a customized picture to a customized pill to a customized stuffed animal of her pet. And I mean, now that's hyper-personalization, and it is based on her intent, right?
Yeah.
Not the right message at the right time, even though it's personalized. So personally, I would be appalled if I was those companies and found out I was spending money on those targeted ads to this poor woman.
That is such a
because she ain't going to buy.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Not going to buy.
Yeah. That is very yeah.
It's going to break trust, and she might have wanted some of those things. That's not to say she didn't look, but to bombard her nonstop where she can't even see anything else in her feed, not a great use of personalization. Or a lot of that intent tracking and stuff. You've got to be more careful with those throttles. And a lot of them
Wow,
are
that's
sponsored
amazing.
ads. You know, so somebody's paying Instagram and Facebook to serve up these ads to this poor person.
Yeah.
And she's not converting anyway, right? Because now she probably will never convert to any of those customers.
Yeah. And again, it goes back to the storyboard, you know, when you start building that campaign, if you don't have those criterias right, you know, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I like throttles on stuff to be careful. And it was just like, it was a weird example. And it was like, I didn't want to, depress anybody on this, but it's the most relevant of really delivering the wrong message at the wrong time. I mean, it might've been something you thought was thoughtful, but I mean, I thought about it. What if it was her parent?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's you got to be careful with that stuff. That's not just, looking for food meals, or like instant, like whatever those food delivery services. That's a slippery slope to, as a marketer. As a marketer, made me cringe.
No, I understand that. And then it's like getting worse by the day again with all these tools. So
it is.
That is a very good point.
That's what makes me nervous about some of the stuff we've been taught and some of the tools we have at our disposal, and not really tracking, because I mean, we all know that these companies send you over and they say, oh, you've had this many impressions, you've had X, Y, and Z. But you're not looking at your CTR and you're not looking at your actual ROI. You're, like those impressions don't mean anything. It just means you served it up to the abyss.
Yeah, I hope that gets better with time. But,
yeah, me too. Well, I think it will when people start, continue to block those ads and stuff.
Yeah, when you don't get the response. Yeah, the engagement goes down. Yeah.
100%.
So that's great, Nicole. Is there any question, any comment that you would like to pass on to the next guest?
No, I'm just hoping that, the next guest, I guess my question would be tricky because it would be almost similar to what was asked of me, but I would say, besides it's kind of similar. I think it'd be interesting to just ask the same question.
Yeah.
Only because I think it's interesting to see what's happening to other companies out there and other marketers, because in a lot of sense, our experience is the same because we're all trying to do the same. So our pain is the same. Our rewards are the same. But depending on the type of company you're with, what you might need to unlearn based on your current customer base, your go-to-markets could be different. What I experience is going to be different than a full SaaS company or a startup company. It's not going to be the same. I also have to deal with HIPAA, even though we're really B2B. But those things are getting harder for marketers.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to pass that on to our next guest, but this has been just an eye-opening conversation, and thank you for sharing your story, your strategy, and your wisdom. So
thank you. This was great. I love this. I'm going to share this with everybody, that they should check out everything because it's so great.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So until next time, I'll see you.
Thank
Bye.
you.